Well, good morning. Welcome to our non-live studio audience in this edition of Coffee with Tyler. Thank you to the live studio audience that is here today. I'm so excited that we're continuing this and continuing on with the momentum, I'll call it, that we're carrying. And I'm excited to share with you all kind of some upcoming items in May that we'll look forward to, but also what questions are on your mind. We do have a State of the Castle this week, Thursday, so we'll be answering questions regarding that. But if there's questions that overlap, by all means, please ask them. And again, for those that are viewing this and for you ladies here, we're actually going to be live streaming that for the first time. So what does that mean? As Scott is videotaping me, it will also project onto channel 955 at the same time. So it'll truly be live, as you could watch it in your apartments. I need to put the caveat, it's the first time we're doing it. So if it does not go well, fear not, we will work out the kinks, but we're going to start with State of the Castle and see how it goes. We'll also have a secondary camera set up that will record it just in case something doesn't work.
Do we have to sign up?
No, it'll be first come, first serve. We will have 40 residents available. That's usually the capacity. I mean, that's usually a full house for one of the State of the Castles, which is why we're not doing a sign up, because again, I'm going to have some of my staff members kind of monitoring the space. And again, if we get tight, we can still probably use the hallway and try to accommodate. I mean, if everybody wants to come to the State of the Castle, we might have to do two. But let's be honest, David Tolan usually pulls in a pretty big crowd, and his is in the 40s. So, David, if you're watching, I'm trying to meet up to your standards. So, but no, so no sign up required. And so yeah. So what questions can I ask or answer rather that you might have off the bat?
I want to know why more people are not coming to the dining room.
Okay, so the question...
There was a rumor that the dining room was going to be closed if more people didn't come. And then all of a sudden, last Friday night, we were packed.
Yep.
I think because of that rumor.
Well, the question and commented rumor that we'll resolve here today is, why aren't more residents coming to the dining room? And secondarily, there was a rumor that the dining room was going to close if more people didn't come.
Yeah.
I met with Carlos yesterday. We talked about the capacity and how we're doing, and on average we get 30 residents a night. In none of those conversations did we ever say, well, if we don't get enough residents, let's shut it down. That has never come up. We will remain open and concurrent. The one piece that we will mention in the State of the Castle, I'll mention it here, we are delaying just the reopen and actually the restrictions of getting 4 people to a table for 1 more week. The reason being is we're focused on a Cinco de Mayo event on May 5th. And so with that, we have decorations and we want to see and put a lot of effort into that from a staffing standpoint. So again, that's why we're going to wait 1 more week until we get back to more individuals being able to dine together with the restrictions. Does that answer?
Yeah.
So I don't know why more residents aren't coming to the dining room.
I've gone down the list.
Yeah.
And I have noted at least 30 people that won't ever come back down to the dining room.
And again, that's your choice.
Yep.
And so again, we want that dining experience to be strong. Obviously, if there's something that's not right on your plate, or it's too well done or too underdone, and you're in the dining room, it's a little bit easier to fix than when it gets delivered up. So that's why we always want to encourage it. That's Jen McEwen, for those of you that are watching at home. She's our Human Resources Director. That's checking in on some uniforms. So yeah. Yes?
And then there were rumors that you might have to come down and pick up your dinner, or they might charge extra if someone delivers it.
So that rumor is, so Nancy mentioned the rumor of going back to what we were doing pre-pandemic of if you order dinner, you come down before 5 and pick up your dinner, right? And then that obviously, then if your dinner was delivered, you would pay $5 or something of that nature. Carlos and I have talked about that. We don't have a plan for when that's going to go back into effect. Right now, we're still going to deliver meals at no charge. There's discussion of the delivery may be able to be paid for by your points, so to speak. So that would be, you know, if you are charged 20 points for your meal, it'd be 25 points, you know, that 5-point delivery charge. The other option is obviously doing carry out, where we have the bags available before 5 or after 6, because that 5 to 6 hour in the dining room is really where we need all of the staff participating in serving residents that dine in. So it also takes pressure off the kitchen. So that's where we want, you know, and again, we'll communicate this. This isn't the case right now, so I want to be clear on that on April 28th of 2021. But the carry-out method would be before 5, or if you want to, you know, to pick it up after 6. Working through those details, that will be in memo form when we go there. Until then, nothing changes from a dining perspective. What other questions? Doris?
If our dinner is late, well, like mine's usually delivered about 20 minutes to 5, and the other night it wasn't there by about 5:30. So I called the kitchen. Should you call the desk or the kitchen? And I don't care. I'll eat as late as they want me to, or as early as they want me to.
So
I just wanted to be sure I got dinner.
Yep.
But
So
what's best to call?
So the question when you have ordered a dinner and it hasn't arrived at the expected time, or you give it 15 minutes or something of that nature, call down to the front desk.
The desk.
The front desk will be the ones that will be able to communicate that better to the kitchen. Usually FMATA will actually physically just run back, because everybody's doing a hustle and bustle in the back of the house, and so usually the phone won't get picked up. But FMATA can go back, talk to Kathleen or staff or one of the cooks and say, Miss Reisel's dinner's still waiting, where is it? Oh shoot, it's on the line, we'll get it put together right now and we'll get it sent up. So front desk is the best option.
Thanks.
Yes?
You know what I'm going to ask next. What about rollers on the dining room chairs?
Rollers on the dining room
on
chairs.
The front?
Yes.
Just the front.
That is not in discussion at this time yet, but noted, and I know that you and I have talked about that on a number of occasions, but we have not gone down that route. I think we're going to trial some to retrofit the chairs, and so we'll see if we can make that happen.
Because I've heard other residents
Yep.
complain about not being able to get
Push
into
it.
the
Yep.
table.
Yep.
And you hate to ask staff, because some of these girls are real tiny, and you don't want anybody hurting their back
Right.
trying to push you in. So,
Right.
would appreciate rollers, you know, like they have in the club room.
Yep.
And there haven't been any accidents
Right.
there, so there's no
Right.
danger really.
And there's rollers just on the front 2 legs, right? And then the
Exactly.
back legs
Yes.
are
No,
regular.
not on all
Yeah.
4, no.
Yeah.
That would be ludicrous.
Yep.
Laura?
So, the question was raised, Laura Wengler, our Director of Community Life, has been out for a number of weeks, and she will look to return in the middle of May. So, Cooper, Scott, Hope, Willie, Jerry, and the team have been doing a phenomenal job in keeping the activities coming, and I'll share with you some more that will be forthcoming in May. As we continue to open up, because obviously April, we've still taking that precautious approach. We increased to 40, see how we do. Again, East Castle Place has done extremely well from a COVID-19 perspective. Obviously, everyone being vaccinated from a resident population standpoint has been a huge indicative piece of why we've been so successful. Staff members too continue to get vaccinated, so that continues to be very, very strong. But in the interim, I've been assisting, overseeing, so to speak, but really it's been the CLS team. So Laura will be set to return in the middle of May, and we look forward to that. So on that same vein for community life, there's been some, I know there have been some events that we have planned for May. So we have the Cinco de Mayo event, which will be a patio happy hour as well, prior to, from 4 to 5. And so Cooper will be bartending and we'll be serving, you know, some margaritas and things of that nature. And that'll really be the first back to happy hour. Again, we'll still ask residents to wear masks into the event, but obviously as you're sipping on your cocktails, and we'll try to set that up as socially distanced as possible. But being outside, you know, we feel more comfortable. Again, we'll see what kind of participation we get. Obviously, those, we're gonna have residents that aren't comfortable with that, by all means, you know, that isn't necessary, and if you still want to participate, let us know. I'm sure we can deliver a margarita or a beer to your apartment as well. But again, so we're going to try that, see how that goes. Then obviously Mother's Day is May 9th. That is a day I'm remembering, as always, is our first official Mother's Day. We celebrated last year when Hunter wasn't here yet, but we'll be doing a Mother's Day brunch and program. Brunch, meaning coffees and pastries. Excuse me.
Gesundheit.
Thank you.
Dankeschön.
Dankeschön. May 10th, so Monday, May 10th. So look for that on the calendar to celebrate all of our grandmothers and mothers. Then we will be bringing in some entertainment in the middle of May in Lindsay Hall. And then Memorial Day, May 31st, Carlos and the team will be doing a cookout. So they'll be behind the grill, cooking up some traditional Memorial Day picnic fare, and then serving that for a Memorial Day lunch instead of the dinner, May 31st. So we're starting, and then obviously we have programming throughout, Coffees with Tyler, Trivia with Mike, David Tolan's music appreciation, things of that nature that'll continue on. And just continuing to work through our student artists and residents, things of that nature, to bring programming back to, not that it's ever not been in life here at East Castle, but kind of back to the norm, so to speak. And it's not purely norm. Obviously we'll still be having face masks and doing everything appropriately, but again, getting back to that sense of what it was like 14, 16 months ago. Now obviously we won't be doing all the huge parties and things of that nature, but I think we do have planned happy hours, kind of come and go type of happy hours planned throughout the weeks and ahead as well. So just really wanting to get back to those pieces. One other event that I'm looking forward to is a kind of a new resident new resident welcome. That'll be after the Cinco de Mayo event, so we'll look back to probably January of 2020 for any residents that have moved in since then, and do kind of make sure we have an introduction, happy hour, name tags for especially the new residents, but even our residents that have been here for a while, so we can get to know one another. It just depends on how that breaks down from a group size perspective. We may break that into you know, maybe it's contemporary and historic. At the same time, it may be based on some of the newer resident schedules and offering 2 dates of what can they better accommodate. And so then we'll go forward with that. But do be on the lookout for that, as that's an important event that I think is, I know so many of you have already done the coffees and things of that in welcoming fashion, and we want those to continue. But we've had a number of new residents, 3 residents this month that'll be moving in, or have moved in already, so we'll want to welcome them. So that's kind of some of the community life updates. Obviously, keep a lookout for those weekly calendars. Keep a lookout on Touchtown. We have a resident that's really helping us out with monitoring. It's Channel 955, as I know that continues to be a piece, a part of East Castle Place that we want to improve upon, and we want to be reliable. But at the same time, there's a lot of moving parts with that system. So again, we're fine-tuning that and expanding that capability. Yes?
How many empty apartments do we have? Are they starting to fill up?
So our sales team had 4 sales this month. So that was very, very strong. Today, we have 73 of the 82 apartments occupied. By the end of this, actually, I take that back. Yes, 73. 75 of the 82 apartments are spoken for, meaning that they're sold, but they haven't closed. And then there's another one that we're aware of that we're working. So we may be in that 76 to 77 mark by the end of May.
Out of
Great.
82.
82 is the
Yep.
total.
82 is the total entrance fee units. So we're down to 69 in about February. So we made a really nice pickup of apartments. So yeah, we'll be back to that 90% range, which is where we want to be. We were 100% sold less than a year ago. So we've just had a number of residents move through the continuum or unfortunately pass away, which obviously we celebrated their lives and in the service of remembrance earlier this month. But the team, the interest from residents and prospective residents is there. We held our first marketing event this month, again, in person. That was very successful. We had 16 prospective residents here, and we look to continue that in May. So. What other questions? I'm trying to think what else I can update.
Are there going to be any outside activities?
Meaning,
Like the symphony plays?
yes, that is something that, to be honest, has been on my to-do list, and I'm going to see if Maureen can help me out in Laura's absence to see how they're doing ticket sales, because if the symphony is open, we will do transportation and outings there. I don't know, maybe you know better than I, has the symphony announced their schedule yet? And have they announced?
I know somebody went to the ballet.
Okay, so it is going
Last
back,
weekend.
okay.
The
So-
rep is opening also.
So the
The
rep,
rep is opening also.
That too.
so the rep is opening. So as those things open, we will provide transportation and set that up. So outside dinners and the Milwaukee Art Museum and things of that nature also, we'll start that up as well. Maybe as early as May, but for sure in June. Also grocery shopping we've talked about going back in May. The church services are going back. Catholic Mass will be Saturday. Will be the May 8th is that first Saturday that Catholic Mass will go to. The ecumenical services will occur the 2nd of May. So instead of Wednesday, this will be the last Wednesday service for Pastor Harold. And then he'll move to Sunday.
At 2 o'clock?
At 2 o'clock, yes, I believe. Check your calendars. We'll still record those for everyone so that we can show those as well. So again, some changes just to get back to that normal. So Saturday and Sunday will be the worship services, and then grocery shopping and things of that nature, getting back to the metro markets and things of that nature.
Wasn't it wonderful that the touchdown came along right before this happened?
Yes.
So that at least we had something during the
Mm-hmm.
time everything was shut down. I think that was just wonderful.
It was
Good
very
timing.
fortunate. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's something that I've had in my communities, at my previous communities. So when I came, I knew that it was a solution that I wanted to implement and bring on and saw value. And obviously didn't need to see that much value with a pandemic, but very glad that we had it.
Yeah, it was good.
What else?
The CDC said that people who are fully vaccinated don't need masks when they're outside.
Correct.
So if we had a Cinco de Mayo thing outside, we're all vaccinated.
Right.
So we shouldn't need to have
Right.
masks.
And that's kind of the thought, and why we're moving forward with that Cinco de Mayo event. I will still ask that you wear your mask to the event, because obviously you're coming from inside, but then as you're outside, and again, that's at your comfort level. That is a recommendation. The CDC has gone through their number of studies, but you know that's something that you know I'm always to the more conservative and the precautionary approach, because I had residents ask me. One resident stopped by my office and said, Tyler, you know, when do you anticipate masks going away, you know, for East Castle? And I told the resident, I said, you know, right now, if you put my, you know, kind of back against the wall, I'd say we have them for long term, just because I see, obviously, the flu season that we didn't have and things of that nature. At the same time, I know they're a pain, you know, they're uncomfortable and you can't speak as well. So, again, even once the CDC and kind of some of those entities say, you know, masks are no longer required, I fully anticipate East Castle Place residents across, you know, Wisconsin, things of that nature will still wear masks, although not required because they're more comfortable, and that's going to be the case here. Obviously, it's a little bit easier to mandate for employees and things of that nature, and again, all of our employees have not been vaccinated. A strong majority of full-time staff members, probably in the 80 to 90% mark of full-time staff members that you see on a day in and day out basis have been. But we have a number of part-time and pool employees that pick up various schedules, and they may have gotten it off-site and not let us know. So we're trying to capture that data, but there's still some that have not, you know, received it. So again, that's why masks will stay in place for employees probably for much, you know, for the foreseeable future.
Thank you for letting visitors come in again.
Of course.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, and again, overnight visitors are allowed. Up to 2 nights is what we're asking, just to kind of limit it. We still are asking visitors not to participate in the in-person activities. Again, that's because I want to make sure, A, the capacity is here for you residents first and foremost, but B, it's just, I know what I have here. I don't know what the visitors have, you know. So that's where we're still trying to limit that. I do look forward to the day when we can say, come one, come all. But at that time, we're still asking that restrictions stay in place and that they visit in the apartments, things of that nature. But again, I'm just as excited because I can tell you the number of phone calls that I don't have to take anymore about, you know, can I come and you know, or a resident saying I have a family member that wants to come. Those were tough conversations to have when I had to say no. You know, I hated saying that when I couldn't have a visitor, because I know how important they are. I know how important they are to the community. I know how important they are to you as residents. And so, again, that was, looking back, some of the more painful decisions and conversations to have. So I too am very thankful that visitors are able to come back into play. I too am very thankful that on the large, I would say 99.9%, visitors have been very respectful in taking temperatures and doing the sign-ins and wearing their masks. So again, it hasn't been an issue, and again, credit to you all for also policing that to a degree. So yeah. Anything else? No. Okay. Trying to think. So yeah, state of the castle. One thing for everyone, I will be out of the office next week, taking some time with my wife and son. So I'll be out of the office, but Maureen and the rest of the director team will be here. They know how to get a hold of me. I will be responding to emails, but my response time will be definitely delayed. So, want to let you know I'll be back in action on Monday, May 10th, and look forward to it. But if you need me in the interim, see Maureen, see one of the directors to let me know if you need me. Lindsay Vigut, our administrator, is my right hand, and so she will take the lead on anything that is bigger picture, community standpoint, but again, really it's the directors that take care of a lot of what we do from a day to day. So
Lindsay and I had a very nice conversation last week
okay.
for Coffee with Tyler.
Good. It was just you two?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was coffee with Lindsay.
Yeah.
So, well, good. Do you have a question?
When are they going to start all this construction?
was wondering if we were going to get through the coffee with Tyler before that. So we'll talk a little bit about that state of the castle because I'm sure it will come up. The construction renovation will start in early 2022.
Oh,
So probably March is what we're projecting right now. The general contractor has been selected. We'll be working with C.G. Schmidt, which is a local company here. Been in the area for over 101 years. So the board of directors selected them for the pre-construction. So they're, as you can imagine, with this type of project, many city approvals and things of that nature. So, so we'll be going through that. More and more updates will be happening as we move forward. Because I don't know what impacts we're going to have yet. But the first part will be the Bradford Terrace area. It's just, will common areas also be impacted? And it's all based on schedule that we don't have determined. The city has been in a step with us here recently, and we'll be going to city approvals here in the next couple of weeks. And then it becomes really public knowledge. Although the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel did put out a story, as well as we have announced to our partners our plans for renovations. So, but early 2022. So.
It sounds like most of the rentals have found where they're going to go now.
They have, and that's the toughest part. That's why, that's where my focus has been. And to be honest, is to make sure that transition is as smooth as possible. But you're right. I've been able to meet with the majority of them one-on-one to kind of walk through that. And again, that's the tough part of this. So, but again, we want to make sure that everybody's well taken care of. So
are the apartments in Water Tower going to be enlarged?
yes.
Oh,
So right now there's 52 apartments in
Yeah.
Water Tower. There will be 30.
oh, wow.
And there will be also some common areas that come out of that space.
And the existing elevators will take care of all that,
Yep.
because mine is very busy.
Yep. So
They use it for maintenance and,
Yep. Yep. So yes, the goal will be to there's a couple plans to actually alleviate some of the need for elevator D and to take some of that
yeah,
off in the plans. But yes, there's 2 elevators in Water Tower that will service that area.
yeah. Well, the country kitchen won't be needed, right?
Nope, but there's different kind of nooks and amenity spaces that will,
Oh,
be updated and things of
Yeah.
that nature that are, again, that's where your input's going to be valuable for what we want in those spaces. Obviously, there's concepts and things that are kind of determined that we get approval for, but again, as there's spaces that arise and as there's those services that we want, that's the discussions we'll want your input on. And we'll get there, and the question is, well, when? And I don't have that answer quite yet, but do know it's before, the final drawings and everything is final. We have an interior designer that we'll be bringing on board as well. That has not been selected yet. That'll happen here in the next week or two. But that interior designer is going to be pivotal in working with resident groups as well to see. And again, we're not looking for 100% agreement on decisions. That's going to be tough between 100 plus residents. I sometimes struggle getting agreement between my wife and I. Usually she gets,
kidding.
yeah, once in a while. Not that anybody's ever experienced that. I mean, I'm sure everybody's agreed with everything, throughout life and marriage and decisions, but I mean, supper last night. Thankfully, she just said we're grilling out chicken, and I said fantastic. But the night before was what are we having? And I said I don't know. And then she said, well, what do you want? I said, well, what do you want?
takeout.
And that's what we ended up with. But then it was, where do you want takeout from? And I said, well, why don't we, she's like, do you want, and she was in Brookfield, so I was like, do you want Portillo's or Chick-fil-A? And I was like, all right, I'll make my decision, Chick-fil-A. We had Portillo's, so, you know, so, no, but, no, she's obviously been fantastic. Actually, Grandma is watching Hunter this morning. So yeah, my mom came down from West Bend and is spending time with her grandson today. So helping us out. So yeah, but my wife is back full time, and Hunter's growing. He'll be 7 months on Sunday.
Oh,
Can't believe it. So yeah, crazy, but doing well. Happy, healthy guy. Almost last night, I mean, I might look a little bit more bright-eyed and bushy-tailed because he slept all the way through the night. So I don't know. Tonight might be a whole different story. Because 2 nights ago he was up at 11, 1, 2, 3, 4:30.
send them to me, I'm up then.
Yeah? All right. Well, I'll do an early morning. I'll drop him at the door. Do I just have to knock? Just knock and say, well, here you go. I'll come check on you in a couple hours. But no, everybody's doing well. So, yeah. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Appreciate the update.
Thank you.
Take
thank
care.
you.
And for those of you out there, I'll sign off with a sip. All right. Take care, everyone.